If you're curious about if the iPhone SE is worth spending your hard-earned money to get the upgrade for, I was too, so I checked this out for the last 2 weeks, and I'm pretty impressed. Let me tell you why. Now, the specs on the iPhone SE are not the greatest, but it does come with an A15 Bionic chip, which means that this thing is super speedy, it's super fast. It's the same chip that's in the iPad mini and also in all the new iPhone 13s. Great for games, very responsive, very nimble. I have been very impressed with how well it performs. And I was also intrigued by the power that the A15 chip is going to have with its video and photo modes. And I had a great time testing out the camera the last couple of weeks. It does everything and more. Plus an unboxing of this phone. You can check it out at the link up here, and I'm gonna put it down in the description below as well. It's just so small and light. You can really keep this thing on you at all times. You barely notice it's in your pocket, really. And the battery life blew me away on this thing. I would charge it up to 100%. It took about an hour and 15 minutes from 0 to 100%. And then this lasts all day into the next day, 2 days. 2 days use I was getting out of this thing. I mean, it's just, the battery life was crazy. So that's a nice little weight off your shoulders when your phone can hold a charge for more than a day. It's just one less thing to worry about. So if your old SE is starting to show signs of wear and tear, the battery's not holding a charge as long, it's taking forever to charge up, it's definitely time for an upgrade because this thing will not disappoint. So that brings me to the point of who would this phone be good for? And I saw a lot of chatter on the internet about how this is going to be a great phone for older users. And I already know that once your eyes start going, this little tiny screen is just a little too small. My grandpa had one of these phones and we try and blow up the text to as big as we could, but it was still very hard for him to read and also to use the keyboard. But if you don't care about texting or reading emails on your phone, you just want something to make calls, this is great because this is going to last a long time on one battery charge, and it's got 5G on it, so it's got really good connectivity. It's just going to keep getting better as all the phone companies keep upgrading to 5G. And supposedly Apple is going to keep updating this phone for the next 5 years. So you're going to get your money's worth. This thing was $429 with the 64 gigabyte memory. So you take 5 years and divide it by that price, and you're running at around 23 cents a day. This phone is not going to let you down, and you also have a great little camera when you're in a pinch, when those magic moments happen around you. So I would pick this SE up if I just needed a basic phone. And that brings me to another user that I think could really benefit from this. And this is your child, your teenager, when they start finally bugging you for a phone. This is a great first phone for them to try. Keep them in the Apple ecosystem. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, you want another iPhone in the ecosystem, something that you can track and set up easily on your own. Help your kid out. This is going to be the perfect one for their smaller hands, smaller screen. Children have very good eyes. They can read this small screen, and I'm sure it's all relevant when you're a smaller person. A smaller screen looks much bigger. So they won't have a problem with that. They won't have a problem playing video games because the A15 chip is so fast. You will never hear any complaints about any games not working on this thing. But the one thing that I know is going to benefit these kids and these new young creative talents is the amazing camera and video system included in this phone. If I was a kid and I had access to this type of camera with its quality, clarity, time lapses, slow motion, all these features that you can do with this, I would be in heaven and I would be making films with my friends all day long. And now you have this machine where there's no blockages. It works super fast. You've got tons of space. You've got all these different tricks in your bag that you can use. These kids have it lucky when it comes to making videos and photos these days. So they will be super pumped, and you will be amazed at the photos and videos that they're coming back with on this thing. One thing you can rely on with this phone is that it's dust proof. It's water-ish proof, and it has a very strong screen on it, so you can get the basic protection for it, but you know this thing is going to last for a long time. So this little iPhone SE 3rd generation is super impressive, and I'm coming from an iPhone 13 Pro, and I mentioned that I've been using the iPhone 13 Pro for about 6 months. But before that, I was using the iPhone 7, which is very similar. This new SE was supposedly modeled after the iPhone 8. So I remember how slow and clunky that iPhone 7 was. And this one felt very similar, very familiar to it, except the speed of it. The speed is so much faster, so much more responsive, and just really blew me away that we're getting this type of power now in these little tiny phones. This phone will help you do all of that creative stuff, plus what it's supposed to be used for, making calls. I mentioned it's got 5G connectivity. You're not going to be losing signal anywhere you go. And for those people who just need the basics, or a child, teenager, starting off their first phone, this would be an amazing first phone for people. So if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you want to keep your family in the Apple ecosystem so that you can help them out, troubleshooting stuff, helping them out with texting and whatnot, I've been there. I know what it's all about. You just want them to be on another iPhone so that they can pull up the screen and go through and troubleshoot whatever problems they're having. And if you pick one up for yourself or a family member, please let me know how it went in the comment section down below. I'd love to see some real world comments about who has this, who's using it, and what do they really think of it. Because I know I liked it coming from an iPhone 13. Sometimes you just don't need all that stuff. So thanks for watching, everyone. Join the channel down below, and I hope to see you at the next one. Take care.